welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Life from the Inside Out with Chris. And I can't believe we are already to episode 36 and been together for quite some time. And last time we talked about the making course corrections. So when our feelings, emotions, imaginings, we're noticing them and seeing that we're not heading in the direction that we want, that we can make course corrections. And Chris explained how to do that. So if you're interested, head back to episode 35, check that out. It was a great one.
And on top of that, this is the first for 2023.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So, yay.
Yeah. I know we released some, but yeah, our first taping for the new year.
Yep.
So the episodes come out a couple weeks or so after we tape them. So, little lag there. And how are you doing in 2023, Serge?
I still have a pulse. That's a good thing, right? I hope everybody has a pulse in 2023.
All right.
Yeah, it's fine. We're still having incredibly unseasonably warm weather. It should be like at this time of the year, it's often 20, 25, 30 below in Celsius. And it's right now, it says it's just 0 Celsius, which is 32 Fahrenheit.
Hmm.
So this is unseasonably warm still. There's no snow left here at all.
Yes, and we are getting quite a bit of wet. It's just wet. It's flooding
I
and
saw those things. Wow, you guys are getting walloped.
yeah. Yeah, I think it's coming from the Midwest and I was, near Toronto-ish area, and that kind of similar weather patterns where I was at in Ohio, but it doesn't seem that weird for me, but the soils and the way things were built, it's just not designed to handle this much rain because it just usually doesn't happen. So doesn't really feel that foreign to me, but yeah, there's a lot of things going on, but it's also been in drought, so it seems to be rehydrating. And I was
Yep.
thinking a little bit. We talked about this in some of our seminar sessions. Some of these things being symbolic, and so as the rain's coming, I also like to think about well, what does rain do? It washes things away, and it kind of helps things to decay or to change or to move through processes of transformation or change. And so in some ways I think it would be opportunities of, well, how's that coming up for me? Where's that coming up in my own life?
Yeah.
Almost like looking at a
And
dream.
and at the same time, if it wasn't for rain, nothing would grow.
Yeah.
It's essential for life. Water is essential.
Yeah. Yeah, it's balancing out some of the drought conditions too.
Hmm. It may be a little over the top from what I see on the news, but it's doing its job.
Yeah.
You know. Okay. Well, I feel him around, so
Okay, well, let's get going with that part of the episode.
what direction would you like to take this? Just a continuation?
Yeah, I guess I'm interested. Well, we've talked a little bit about weather, but specifically about some of the symbolism there. And we also had a question from Myrna. So I know Myrna's been on the show with us before, and we did a little bit of work with the law of attraction. So another thing coming up is, when people are working on things like vision boards, or we're using our imagination to look into particular realities we might want. What are potentially some, like, what if that's not coming about, or they're not getting the results they want? I wonder if Chris has anything to say about that. What we might be able to do.
Okay. Well, we'll let him speak for himself.
Yes, sounds good.
I'm not going to put words in his mouth. He's going to put words in my mouth.
Oh, okay.
Literally.
Fair enough.
Indeed, we trust that you are comfortable,
Oh, very comfortable, Chris.
and we thank you for your consideration.
Thank you
And
for
we
yours.
also encourage you and all who listen to create the best possible year they can. Since this is the first discussion for the year 2023 in your terms.
Sounds like a plan.
Now, you mentioned a few very interesting items. One of them is transformation. And transformation is unavoidable. Everything in your physical reality is subject to transformation in one way or another. All of the things of your modern civilization are the result of transformation of basic elements into other forms. The air you breathe is transformed into oxygen through your lungs. Sound exists as a vibration, and when it hits your inner ear, it is then recognized as an audible item. Fire is a transformation of wood into light, heat, smoke. Your cars are the results of transformations of iron, aluminum, and other items, fiberglass, other minerals. If you look at it very, very carefully, nothing can exist in that physical reality without having undergone some degree or form of transformation. A simple observation would offer evidence of that. The human being is not an exception to the rule, and the human personality is not an exception to the rule. It often tries to resist its own needed transformations, holding on to older, sometimes outdated, underperforming belief systems, those old narratives that no longer benefit you, though they might have at one time. But sometimes the human being refuses to allow a transformation, which is also something that leads into the other inquiry that you had as to why many people may create vision boards and so many other accoutrements of New Age metaphysical conscious creation, manifesting, and so on and so forth. And even with their best efforts, it appears as if nothing is working. So, of course, the tendency is often to say, oh, I must be doing something wrong, or perhaps there is something wrong with me that I just can't get it to work. And there are many, many variations on such a theme. But conscious creation itself does not necessarily venture into those old structures because somebody's saying, oh, it must be me. I must be doing something wrong. Perhaps I am not worthy. Bingo. There you have a perfect example of old beliefs or narratives, those old scripts, those old programs that are running in the background that may have been accepted years ago, but now want your attention so that they can be released from your mind. Your subconscious is allowing a certain kind of situation, not to thwart you, not to humiliate you or make you look like a failure, but to show you that you are still harboring old programs that are the reason why you seem to hit a brick wall every time. You see, when a programmer use the keyboard to program code for a particular function on the computer, every once in a while, the programmer will hit the enter key, which accepts the coding into the system. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, yeah, I'm familiar with that.
Hmm. In a similar way, human beings very often are unobservant of all the coding, all the programming, all the suggestibility they're offering themselves, and every once in a while keep hitting that enter key so that the program, the information, enters into the mind. And as you yourself are aware with body mind connection, what you think has a direct influence on your neurology, on your different brain wave patterns, which creates a particular field of energy, if you like, for lack of a better word, a field of energy which literally blocks everything out but that which you concentrate upon. So it is all that you see. If you constantly end up thinking of yourself as a failure in life, you generate the energy that shows you that's all you are. You will not be able to see that there were many times when you were the complete opposite. It is like wearing rose colored glasses. You only see that particular band of color. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And the one thing coming up for me as you're describing that, if you're making the vision board, that to me seems like you would be setting an intention for a new set of beliefs, but still repeating that old programming. You have a inner conflict there, and maybe self doesn't know what to deliver, the direction we really want to move in.
You basically create a push and pull system. You're trying to go out a door that only allows in, or vice versa. So you are creating conflicting structures. And in order to maintain a certain sense of stability, the mind, the unconscious, would rather then shift to the old patterns because it knows what to expect with that, and it will not accept the new patterns because you are throwing in some variables that are not necessarily proven yet. It knows what to expect from the old system. You are basically throwing a wrench into the affairs here. So we are working with Joseph to create a very particular program. Now, all of the stuff that you and I have been discussing right now has to do with mindset. A mindset is basically a holding cell for various kinds of beliefs or narratives that keep producing often what you do not want. But you don't have to be stuck with that particular mindset. You can deconstruct it, you can take it apart, you can create a new mindset which generates a particular kind of electromagnetic field of energy that allows you to see what you are concentrating on, but it is, in your own words, a more positive. It is constructive, it is uplifting, it is nurturing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and so the direction towards moving towards that vision board or what's on there is getting your own mindset almost like completely in alignment with that, or all in or in a type of congruency where it's all moving in that
Hmm.
direction.
Indeed. So you want your vision board to say you are going to be a more productive, a healthier, a wealthier person. But all your life you have been dealing with the contrary. You might be suffering in the areas of your health, areas of your wealth, your well being, your successes. Now you want to create that. What are you going to do? You are going to experience a conflict. So you are going to literally set fire to the old structures, and you're not going to be able to enjoy the new structure because you have not dealt with the old views, the old programs that are there. And that is the main reason why a large number of individuals create these vision boards and these amazing opportunities, but seem to fall short of attaining those goals. It is as if they want to sail forward, but still have the anchor tied to the pier. So you can only move forward a little bit, and all of a sudden, tug, tug, tug. You are not going anywhere because your anchor is still tied. Solution: become aware of what anchors you, what weighs you down. Take it apart. You don't have to spend thousands of years doing that. And we suggested a few moments ago that we are working with Joseph to create a particular kind of program to help people recognize the mindsets that they no longer can afford if they want to move forward. So it is going to be called Mindset Mastery.
I like that,
And it
Chris.
will help individuals recognize what is keeping them from moving forward with their lives so that they can actually lift anchor and head in a direction that is more beneficial for them. And mindset is the key. Mindset is behind the mind-body integration. Mindset is behind everything. It is behind perception. Does that make some sense to you?
Yeah, and what's on the tip of my tongue that I'm beginning to understand is that your perceptions are gonna follow your mindset. And we talked about in a couple other episodes where I made radical changes in my mindset and then noticed, from something of a mindset focus more in anxiety or worry to ones of collaboration, love, creativity, and collaboration. And once the mindset shifts, all of the different creations shift with it immediately.
Indeed, it can be rather quick. Sometimes it takes a little longer because sometimes you might realize that you have some particular narratives going on in the background, some particular programs. And upon examination, you realize that those programs are actually tied to yet other kinds of programs. So it requires attention, it requires mindfulness, mm, paying attention to what is there. The mind works on a very interesting, beautiful, and powerful premise. It works on associative principles. In metaphysical circles, it is sometimes seen as something brand new that was discovered, the law of attraction. And actually, it is a basic function of the mind. It is basic in such a way that it has been with human beings from the onset. Without that, even the idea of personality may be difficult to express. This function of the mind is so powerful that everything that you see and experience in the physical terms, in objective reality, is the result of what is out and about in your mindset. So the mind gets a direction from you and it begins to seek out anything it can associate with your direction or order or command, your will. It begins to bring into focus anything that relates to your idea, either of yourself, your world, your perceptions, everything else. It lines everything up almost magically in a way. And then you begin to associate this and that and the other thing. Oh, they are all similar. Everything relates to what you hold in your mind's eye, so to speak. It involves your feelings, your emotions, your imagination to a great degree. Even Albert Einstein had some high praise over the intellect for the imagination, because the intellect can only go so far. But the imagination knows no boundaries except the ones that you impose upon it. So if somebody is raised in an environment where, say, lack of abundance, poverty is the order of the day, perhaps there are other kinds of issues as well, which may have to do with self-worth. Why is someone growing up in that kind of environment, and so on? And if this is not addressed in some form, that mindset of poverty, mindset of lack of, it stays with you. And though someone may win large sums of money in a short order of time, it is gone. They might not be able to make much in their savings account. They may have poor jobs. They may have poor human relations. Because everything lines up with that, as if you only have the one lens. And then when that is compounded with other issues, then you may have a great deal of struggle in life. And it is all because of certain ideas or beliefs and narratives or scripts that are still running your life. And everyone likes to think they are in charge of their lives. And yet they do not perceive that it is their ideas about themselves, their ideas about their world, their ideas about their life that is running the show. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm following you, Chris, and I think we're getting close to, a break point in an episode, so there's probably going to be some more to explore, but Any more thoughts before we take a small break and move into the next one?
Not specifically. So then we can adjust to take the break and come back in a few moments.
All right. Thanks so much, Chris.